everybody. It's Kyle coming to you from my car. Got to run a quick errand. Had to get a second key for my daughter's Mini Cooper. It only came with one key. I mean, when it was bought brand new, there's so many car companies that are doing that now. They'll just give you one key, and there's weird little shit they're doing like that, like one key and no donut. So if you get a flat tire, you're fucked. But they'll have run flat tires in them. And Mini Coopers, I know, do have run flat tires. But like Kia, on a lot of their new cars, I believe they just don't give you a donut or a flat tire in case you get a flat. Man, that just sucks, dude. I know you guys got to cut back somewhere, and I get that, but damn, dude, cutting back on a flat? A flat? I mean, cutting back on an extra key? Those are pretty crucial things, man. That could leave somebody completely locked out of their car and cost them a fortune. Or if they don't have something to replace a flat with, come on, man, that's a fortune. So I don't understand car companies doing that, especially somebody like Mini, who's owned by BMW. That's really strange, I mean, the car that I'm driving is 5 years newer, and granted, it is a Lincoln, and Lincoln is kind of, but so's BMW, even though Mini is not technically made by BMW. Everything else in that car is just built so well, and so, it's a tight little car, and it's got a lot of nice fixtures in it. It's well made, but no flat tire and no extra key. That just sucks, dude. Those are the kind of things that are just bullshit in our world right now. But there's a lot of shit that's bullshit in our world right now. I guess President Biden called it shrinkflation. It's kind of the same thing, even though, hell, that Mini Cooper was made in 2011, probably 2012. It's pretty, 12-year-old car at least. So yeah, there's no shrinkflation really back then. Okay, so let me just get off that subject, but that's why I'm going to do that, and yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. Got to pay $270 for an extra freaking key. Pretty absurd. So I'm going to pick that thing up. It's way over in Overland Park, and I thought I'd go ahead and try and do a podcast episode while I'm on my way. Normally I would have one done by this point in the week, but I just haven't had a chance. It's really busy. We had 2 nights in a row with strings concerts, and so like the orchestra, my son is a part of that, even though he doesn't play strings, he plays brass, but the orchestra includes brass and other instruments in addition to strings instruments. So we had a couple nights of that going on. Night off tonight, at least for me. My wife has a Girl Scout meeting, planning meeting, so adults, and then tomorrow night's another concert, and then Friday night is the big music department talent show. So, and then next week is kind of the same difference, man. It's a bunch of, like, at least 4 concerts / events to do with music. Now, the week after that is graduation, so right around the corner on that thing. So, obviously all this stuff like this will stop at that point. And yeah, there's a sadness to it and all that, but on to bigger, better things. Even though this has been a great situation for my son, he's done really great in music, and he has a knack for it. He loves it, and he's going to continue it a little bit in college, not as a study, but he's going to be on marching band where he's going, and he's going to be singing some choir stuff up there as well too. So that's kind of cool. I say up there because it's north of us. So anyway, so what's going on that's good in my life? Well, there's that. We're just kind of getting to the end here. My daughter's doing really good in school, but she's got a little break here from sports, which is awesome. And then my son is getting ready to graduate. Those are great things. But what I want to talk about at the outset of this episode here is de- depression, and how I've had this depression creeping back into my life, and I know kind of what it is, at least part of it. I mean, Mother's Day is coming up, so that probably ties into it a little bit, because I won't be doing my usual thing. Every Mother's Day I would go meet my mother about halfway between where she lived and where I live, and we would have a lunch and maybe a beer, watch a ball game, and it was a good thing, just her and I. And then my wife would go meet with her mom and all that, and then my kids would do something with my wife, like in the same day, because they're celebrating their mother, and that's what we're all doing. So none of that this year. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it's true. So yeah, there's that factor. The other factor is I've just, and look, when I talk about these things, I know what it is, and I know that it's just my mind fucking with me. But the point is that I can't keep my mind from fucking with me on it. Now, I take meds, and I try to not think about these things, but the more you try not to think about something, the more you think about it, right? So I get it, and it makes sense why, in a certain sense of things. And what I'm going to talk about and open up about right here, right now, I understand it, and I understand that it's kind of absurd, that I should feel this way or think this way. And I don't really. I mean, I recognize the absurdity of it, but I also know that it doesn't matter, because my head keeps pushing it to the forefront and making me think about it. And yeah, that's kind of what the struggle is. So, in addition to the factor that this is now Mother's Day, and there we go, I kind of get that way around Father's Day as well. But in addition to that, there's this factor. My parents met in college, and they were going to college. They ended up getting married, and along came me about a little over a year later, and that's awesome. They started a family. They wanted a family, so they did that, and there we go. And so that's what they were after. And then about 2 years after me, they had another child. So they had this little nuclear family. That's what they have always called it, right? The American Dream, 2.2 children, blah, 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 blah. But they had their family. They went out and they established their family, right? They had their own families they came from. There's some things within those that aren't so great. There always is in any family. But they were establishing their own family. And yeah, I get the irony of this whole thing too, that I'm getting ready to talk about. But I think what's getting to me, and what's continuously popping up in my head, and the gray clouds going on, or the dark clouds in my head, are because I'm left here. Everybody else is gone. My little brother, they call it crib death. They don't call it that anymore. They call it SIDS, or sudden infant death syndrome. An unexplainable death with a child. That's what it is. That happened when I was like 2. I barely knew him. I didn't really know him. I remember looking in his crib once, and I remember, or I have a picture of him and I from the Woolworths in my hometown, getting our picture taken together, brothers, That's it. That's all I got from him. And then flash forward 9 years from that, and my dad was home with us, by the way, when my brother had passed away. So he had a real challenge as far as mentally, psychologically with the whole thing. And so that kind of tore him up for a long time. And then he had drinking problems, man. He would go on these binges and drink way too much, and it would get to the point where my mom and dad would be fighting, and yeah, it was crazy. But long story short, my mom was in the hospital. She had contracted salmonella, became a carrier of salmonella in her bloodstream. She worked in a laboratory doing blood work. And so she was in the hospital all over the country, really. Different military hospitals are trying to figure out how to cure her of being a carrier of this. And it turned out she was later a carrier of hepatitis. They did cure her of the salmonella deal. But anyway, I don't know. I don't understand the whole thing, so I'm not going to pretend to. But that was going on. My dad was home with me, and I think, he wasn't doing a very good job. I can tell you that. I mean, he drank a lot, When my mom went in the hospital, it was just him taking care of me. He drank a lot. He drank a fifth of Canadian whiskey every day. Every single day, he drank a fifth of Canadian Mist. And I remember him driving to the liquor store, which was right next to the grocery store that we would go to, and I would stay in the car. He'd be parked right in the alley, right next to the liquor store or the grocery store, whatever. And he would run in there while I stayed in the car, and then he would run back out because he had his bottle. And then he would go home and drink it. And that's what it was like, And then he basically, I couldn't be around it anymore. I mean, I was late to school several times. Things were getting pretty bad. And I ran away over, not far. I mean, just to my grandparents' house. It was like a couple blocks away, but I ran away. And I just knew that he was just not doing good, and it wasn't a good place for me to be. And then after I had done that, he drank himself all the way to death one night. He had 2 strokes within 24 hours as a result of this super binge he was going on, super binge of drinking. And he died. He was only 35 years old. It was the same day John Lennon was shot, same exact day. Yeah, I'm a little bit older, so that was in 1980. So then, here we are. And now my mom's taking care of me. She came home from the hospital, and we stayed at my grandma and grandpa's for a few years. And then the next thing you know, I was about 15. I was a freshman in high school. Maybe a year before that, maybe 2 years before that. I think it might have been 8th grade. So maybe I was, about three years or so after my dad died. We moved out, got an apartment, and my mom was sending me to Catholic school all of a sudden, 7th, 8th grade, 7th grade forward. And I was pissed, man. My grandpa was pissed, or her dad was pissed at her. And because he was Lutheran. Not that there's a giant difference. I mean, there is and there isn't. But anyway, so he didn't want to help her anymore. And so we moved out into this apartment and everything, and we lived there up until my mom met another fella about, I was probably 15 or so, maybe 16, and she married him, and they were married all the way up until he passed away. So then this last holiday season, my mom passed away, as you guys know, in January, mid-January. And so that family of 4 now is just me. So here I am. I mean, I know this shit happens to people, and I know that I've got a good life, and I've got a good family, and a great wife, and great kids, I have my aunt, my uncles, you know, my grandparents, other children to depend on and to talk to and stuff. And I've got my wife's family and stuff. But yeah, I'll be honest with you guys, man. There are these times when I have this overwhelming feeling of loneliness, and I already kind of had that before my mom passed away, but now I'm getting a big fresh dose of it, and it just keeps it coming in my head, and it won't stop. And I know I'm not alone, and I know that I'm doing exactly what they were doing, and that didn't work out, you know? I know that I'm doing that. But all the time that that's happening, and I'm trying to go to sleep at night, or I wake up in the middle of the night or something, and I'm laying there and I'm thinking, here we go, here it comes. And it just gets into my head and it won't fucking quit it. I really don't know how else to put it, but it just will not stop. No matter what I do, the only way to make it stop, you know, I'll take a Xanax and make myself go to sleep, basically. That's about it. I mean, it comes on during the day and stuff too, but at night, it's different. Everybody's asleep, so I'm kind of all alone, and then I realize just how alone I really am. I mean, at least that's what my mind is telling me. Yeah, it fucking sucks. So that's why I've had this resurgence in depression and sadness. It's just because that was kind of always the issue, but now it really hits home, man, even more than it ever has before, because I'm truly the last left in that crew. And yeah, it sucks. I'll be honest with you, man. It really sucks. I don't know how else to explain it. But I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. I don't want anybody to pray for me, or I don't want anybody to, you know, I'm not trying to get pity. I'm just telling you what's going on. So that's what's going on. I got to go into this snooty dealership and get this key for this car that I paid $270 for, or whatever the hell it was. And then when I come out and I start driving home, I'll start talking about some things that I'm into right now. And I do appreciate you guys listening. But yeah, that's what's up, man. I know I'll come out of it. I know things will get better. I know all that. I know that it's illogical and it's kind of silly. But it is what it is, man. I can tell you, as illogical as it is and as ridiculous as it sounds, doesn't feel that way in the middle of the night when you wake up and you're all alone, man. And I'm not going to wake my wife up. She told me, because we've talked about it, she's like, well, wake me up and we can talk about it. And I'm like, there's no way on earth I'm going to do that, you know? She's exhausted. I am too. Anyway, all right, guys. So I'm going to run in, I'm going to get this key and everything, and I'll come back out and talk about some things that I'm into right now.
What's up, Doc?
All right, we're back. So I got that key taken care of. Thank goodness. Anyway, all right, some things that I'm into now. We'll change the mood of this conversation of me talking at you, right? Yeah, so what am I into right now? You know, in music, there's a lot. I mean, I've told you guys about the records that I've gotten recently and all that stuff, and you know, that's great. And I've had to stop myself a few times. That was my phone. I'm sorry. That's not what I'm recording on. I'm recording on the Zoom. but my phone's right next to it. So, anyway, what am I into music-wise? Actually, I've been listening to an older playlist that some friends and I made quite a while ago. We used to have this group. We all kind of hung around a little bit, and we were actually all scout dads. But in our own time, we'd go fishing and we'd do some stuff and lots of drinking. And we would drink this mead. I'm not sure if you're familiar with mead. Pardon me again on that phone. But mead is basically fermented honey. It's a wine made with, well, it's not really a wine, but it's a fermented honey, and that becomes an alcohol drink, And it's not very good. But what happened is we were on this fishing trip, and it was really cold. I don't know why I'm getting into this whole story. It's about a playlist. And anyway, somebody had some Fireball, and we finished that stuff off while we were jug fishing catfish, actually. I know, pretty Midwestern neck thing to do, but it was still pretty fun. And it was winter. It was the middle of winter, like January or February. It's cold as hell out. Anyway, we ran out of that Fireball, and we're trying to figure out what else to drink shots to, And luckily, someone was still sober enough to drive the boat. But somebody had this mead. And yeah, it's the mead brand or whatever. The name of the mead was Viking Blood. And so that's why this playlist is called Viking Blood. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and I'm going to share that playlist with you guys if you want to check it out. There's a lot of hip hop on it because there's out of, let's see, 4 of us are pretty big hip hop heads, and kind of a couple of the guys were a lot younger than 3 of us. We have an old group now. We called the Bold Farts for a while. I don't know what it's called because it was old farts. Anyway, but we made a playlist before we went on this big trip back then fishing. And Viking Blood was the name of the playlist. And it was our chat group for a while too, but things have changed. So anyway, I'll share that with you. But I've been listening to that playlist a lot. And it's got quite the variety of music on it. Like I said, a lot of hip hop. There's some heavier rock. For one of our buddies, PP, he's more of a heavy rock guy. He likes hip hop too, though. And then our buddy Mikey was starting to work on the dent removal stuff, and so he would be gone sometimes. And he got into, since he was working a lot in Texas, and had a lot of guys that he was working with that came up from Mexico and stuff, and from Central and South America. He had a lot of Latino kind of hip hop music too, so he put a bunch of those on there too. So there's a lot of that on there. And then he was also kind of into garage rock bands at the same time, so there's some of that in there as well. For me, it's just a variety of a lot of different things. For the younger 2 guys that we hung out with, they had a lot of newer hip hop that maybe we weren't all, as up to date on and all that stuff. But yeah, it's not new anymore, man. That stuff's actually pretty old now. This was a while ago, but I've been listening to that playlist, man. I love that playlist. Other than that, I mean, I've been going and listening to a lot of music because it's for my son for school, but haven't been listening to a whole lot of different stuff on Spotify or anything, or spinning records, because I just have been gone in a way. So anyway, I'll put that playlist on here. You can check that out, see what you think. And I think there's a new Vinyl Moon album coming pretty soon, and I've added a record to that also. Because they'll send you these things. Hey, so-and-so is doing a special issue of their record from 6 years ago with us, and we're doing a reprint of it, and blah, blah, blah. You can get it for like $20. So you just add that on, So that's kind of cool. This is kind of cool, too. So when I got my latest volume of Vinyl Moon, number 104, it's kind of cool because they sent me this VIP coin. And basically what it was is they do this because you stick with something for a year. And I guess that was kind of a thing with astronauts and when they were training at NASA and stuff. If you stick it out for a year with something, it becomes kind of a habit, and it's something that's a part of your life, then that's kind of cool. So they sent me this coin. I'll have to put a picture of that up so you can check that out. So I'm a member of the Vinyl Moon VIP group now, which just means I'm probably going to get more ads to buy more records, which I'm a sucker for. So probably smart to send me that. That's about it for listening. Movies, or TV watching. We've watched another episode or two of Reacher. Really love that show, by the way. If you haven't seen that show, I highly recommend that. I haven't seen either of the Tom Cruise movies. I hear they're pretty good, though. It's just hard to imagine Jack Reacher being the same size as Tom Cruise. Jack Reacher is a relatively big fella. That's kind of the whole point. Is he draws attention where he goes, and he gets guys saying, "Oh, I bet I could kick your ass," type of shit wherever he goes, and yet they can't kick his ass. Spoiler alert. But anyway, so yeah, we've been watching that show, and I know we've watched at least one. I think we watched 2 more episodes, but it is fantastic. I heard they're only going to be 2 seasons. There's been 2 seasons so far, and I've heard it's not getting renewed for a 3rd, which is sad because it was fantastic. It reminds me of how good the Hap and Leonard TV series was, and they only did 3 seasons of that. And I mean, they could have done that forever, man. But unfortunately, the gentleman who played Leonard has passed away, and so that's Michael. Cannot remember. Is it Michael Johnson? Maybe. I can't remember exactly, but he was a tremendous actor. I think he was in The Wire, but he did a really hell of a job playing Leonard Pine and putting a person to that character that I had in my head. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed watching him portray that. And, of course, the guy who plays Hap is fantastic as well. It's just a good show. And it's sad. It's sad to watch shows like that come along and then turn around and leave right away when you're getting used to them because, you want to see more of them. I mean, even my wife got into Hap and Leonard. She really loved it as well. So, and those are all, Hap and Leonard's all a series of books written by one of probably my favorite author of all time, which is Joe R. Lansdale. He's from East Texas, and he writes a lot of different things. These mystery crime type things with Hap and Leonard, but he also writes a lot of horror stuff as well and gothic type of tales, but kind of throws a little bit of southern twang onto it, and really, it's really cool, man. I highly recommend it if you've not checked out any Hap and Leonard by Joe R. Lansdale. Do yourself a favor and do that because it's great stuff. But that's about it. I mean, not much else new. I really wanted to go see Planet of the, or whatever it is. What is it? Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I really wanted to go see that already, but I haven't had a chance yet. I've just been swamped, man. I would have liked to have gotten away even tomorrow night and go see it the day before it actually officially comes out, but that's just not going to happen. So I don't know. I'll see if there's any chance I can get away with this weekend and check it out. That sure would be pretty great if that could happen. I would be thrilled. Other than that, let's see what else is going on. We did music, we did movies. Let's see, books, reading. I am reading. I am finishing up Frozen Hell, which was originally called Who Goes There, I believe, but it's written by John Campbell, I believe, and it is that is the story that the film versions of The Thing are based on. So there was a film version of The Thing, I believe, in the 50s, and there's the one from 1980, I think, with Kurt Russell by John Carpenter, and then there's that kind of prequel which came out in the 2010s, I believe, which is in the same universe or whatever, but it's new. That's a new story there. But yeah, been reading that book. Reading that, it's really he took his story, which is called Who Goes There, and he turned it into a book called Frozen Hell. So he kind of opened up the story a little more, wrote a little bit longer version of it, and that's what Frozen Hell is. So I'm about done with that one, and it's really interesting, very interesting. And then I was talking to another buddy of mine, John, and he was telling me, he and I read a lot of the same things. We're both Hap and Leonard fans and Joe Lansdale fans. But he was telling me about the basic version of Audible that you can get, where you can buy the audiobooks and stuff at a cheaper rate. And there's a lot of free stuff you can listen to all the time. That they were giving away The Hobbit for free, and a great version of it. And so he said, yeah, join, man, and just go get that. I mean, it's worth it. It's not really free because you'll pay whatever to join. I think $8 a month. I mean, you can cancel whenever you want. I think a full regular version is like 20 something a month, which I would love to have, but it's a lot. I can't justify it for some reason. Even though I listen to a lot of audiobooks in the summer, especially when I'm mowing. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to listening to that. He said, you forget how good that book is if you read it when you were younger. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's the first book I ever read for enjoyment on my own outside of school or anything, was The Hobbit. I was relatively young. I want to say I was 10 or younger. I didn't get everything in it, obviously, but yeah. So I'm excited to check that out again. That's about it for reading, though. I haven't read any new comics or anything in a while. What else? Gaming. Nothing really. I think I told you guys about that game I've been playing, the solitaire game I've been playing. It's Netflix or whatever that I've been playing on Android. Been digging on that, but, nothing really new besides that. There's actually a Japanese game, or it might be Korean, game that I've been playing. It just came out. I don't know how much I'm going to continue with it. It's kind of, when you get into those RPGs, those JRPGs is what the group of them is called, I believe. I'm not sure how much I really like those, man. I mean, I want to like them. I love the artwork, and I like the idea of them, and some of the storylines are pretty cool, but I mean, once I start playing them for a while, I'm like, that seems like a lot of work for this. That's sad. I'm too lazy to play video games. But it's true. It's hard to get committed in something like that when you're busy doing other stuff. So, yeah. All right. But yeah, that's about it, man. Not much else, guys. I mean, I appreciate you guys listening. I know the opener there wasn't the happiest thing in the world. It wasn't super sunshine and rainbows and gumdrops, but it is what's going on. It is how I've been feeling, and I believe it is why I've been feeling that way. And I'm hoping that I can get on around this and just move on, because it's not good. It's not good feeling this way. It sucks, man. And I could certainly do without it. I don't choose to feel this way. Like I say, these things pop into my head, and they just won't let go. And really, all I can do is just continue to tell myself, hey, man, come on. You know what this is. It's depression. It's your head messing with you. But it's hard. And like I said, in the middle of the night, you wake up and you're alone. Everybody else is asleep or doing other things. It's pretty hard to convince yourself that this shit's not real, and you just need to ignore it, Instead, it's pretty easy just to embrace it and go, yeah, I guess that is what's going on. That is why I'm so screwed up. So, there's that. Don't really know what else to say about it. But again, I appreciate you guys listening. If you know anyone that's going through this, and you can help them and talk to them, do something, say something. Don't just let it go by. If it's happening to you and it's out of control, and I feel like I've got things under control. I've talked with my wife about it and with some friends, and actually just talking about it on here, even though I know there's not a ton of people listening, it doesn't really matter. Saying it out loud is very cathartic and makes me let go of it a little bit. So I'm not just using this platform to say it so that I feel better, but at the same time, that doesn't hurt either. But no, I just wanted to let other people know, if anyone's ever gone through something like that, or they're going through something like that, yeah, I know what that's like. You're not alone. If it's too much, you definitely need to speak up. And if you see someone else having a tough time with it, you definitely need to try and help. So make sure you do that. There's a national suicide prevention hotline. I can't remember what it is. I'm sorry. And then there's also stuff available online. You can Google it wherever you are and find that information. So I would highly recommend that as opposed to just trying to handle it yourself, because again, I've just not found a way to handle it easily by myself, even on medication, and even when I was in therapy full time and talking to people, I've not really been able to find a way to handle it. Right now is a rough patch that I'm going through, and I know I'll come out on the other end and I'll be fine. But yeah, that's what's going on, guys. All right, enough talking about that. Enough talking, period. You guys take it easy. I will catch you on the other side. And, if you're in my neighborhood, I'm going to have to get out there. Man, that grass is really growing in the back. I mean, it's amazing how the grass we've planted where those trees used to be is just cropped up. I mean, I'm going to be busy this summer. There's no two ways about it. So do me a favor. If you're in my neighborhood, get off my lawn.